don't see how we can make bigger enemies.
To be offended or frightened of everything.
So you've become like the sort of Tony Scarface of podcasting.
Morning show. George is gay, and say the news.
He cracks him up. He slays him.
I'm my biggest fan.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning show. Happy Wednesday. Snowy Wednesday. What a disgusting fucking weather we're having.
Snowy. It's raining.
It's raining, yeah.
And it's going to be a skating rink later on because the temperature is going to go back down below zero.
It's disgusting. Thank you for being here, guys. Head on over to patreon.com/Pantelis if you haven't done so yet. Amazing stuff coming out of that little channel. Have you subscribed yet to this YouTube channel? If not, you should. And you should follow this fucking guy that keeps coming in late.
Excuse me?
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. Poseidon.com, the Poseidon69.
On YouTube as well. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube. Subscribe.
What's your channel?
The Poseidon69. That's how you're gonna find it. But it says Poseidon.
Yeah.
But the tag is the Poseidon69, just like on Instagram. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers.
What do you have? Where are you at now?
I'm at like 180. And by the way, how dare you insult Pantelis' channel by saying it's a little channel? When I tell him, bro, we're gonna beat the shit out of you. It's a joke, sorry.
Guys, I don't know what you're gonna do today, but whatever you do, you're gonna have to head on over to Standing by the Terry and Ted podcast. I was listening to the latest episode with Dick Irvin. What a legend, man! When you guys put out the post saying that the announcing the guest that you're gonna have on, I started giggling. I was like,
hello, I'm Dick Irvin, and this is Hockey Magazine.
How are you, Ted?
I'm good. You?
I'm super.
Are you kidding me? Dick Irvin? What a legend he is.
Oh, my goodness.
How old is he?
I think he's 91.
And he still got it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't watching the video. I was listening to it on the car, and he sounds like $1 million.
Yeah.
I produced it, so I listened to it as well.
And you didn't know how old he was.
And I thought he says it at some point, I think. Because
the first 3 minutes.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
But I was shocked that he was 91 because honestly, man, like he's in top shape for 91.
No, but this guy's recalling stories from the 50s, 60s like it happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I don't know if that's just a God-given thing or if you can improve your chances of remaining sharp into your senior years by doing things like crossword puzzles or reading a lot, just keeping your brain active. Like, your brain's a muscle, like any other muscle. And if you exercise it, it stays sharp. And if you don't, it atrophies.
I think luck also has a lot to play with it in
Probably,
general.
yeah.
Because
genetics as well.
Genetics, because I've seen people that take care of themselves, train and everything, that at 40, 50, sickness is this.
There's a lot of misfortune. But
but I'm talking about mental acuity. I'm talking about staying sharp mentally.
This guy, and first of all, like, is there any better Canadian encyclopedia on hockey than Dick Irving? I don't think so. I mean, this guy, just the stories that he has, the conversations that he's had with hockey players. And to me, I'm listening to him and I'm thinking, this was more than just a job for this guy. You can't be like Dick Irving and not be passionate about hockey. I mean, it has to be in your blood, and it is in his blood.
Well, it was in his blood.
Yeah, for sure.
His dad was a Hall of Fame hockey coach. As I looked it up this morning, his dad was the 13th winningest coach in NHL history in terms of career victories. And he coached at a time when the seasons were a lot shorter.
Yeah.
You know, if he was coaching today, you know, seasons are longer, coaching careers are longer. He probably would have racked up a lot more. He won 4 Stanley Cups, 3 with the Canadiens, 1 with Toronto. I mean, there's a thing right there. You win a Stanley Cup with Toronto, you've beaten the odds.
Wow, exactly.
Yeah.
Was it the last one they won?
No, it was 1944.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't stop. I have like about 5 minutes left or whatever. I couldn't stop listening. I mean, what a... You guys should definitely go listen to that episode, honestly. He's just an amazing... is he in Montreal?
Yes, he is. He's in Point Claire. I ran into him at IGA a couple of years ago. He was coming out and I was heading in, and he stood there and he talked my ear off for 10 or 15. And he'll do that. And he'll do that with anybody too. He'll talk to anybody. If someone recognizes him, Mr. Irvin, hello, how are you today? You know, when my father was coaching the Canadiens back in 1944. He'll regale you with stories.
You know, the thing is, I think
it makes me happy for some reason seeing older people like that, late 80s, 90s, still being all there mentally, still being healthy, walking, not needing a wheelchair. I don't know why. Is that a normal thing that it makes me happy to see that?
Of course, it's normal that it should make anybody happy. I was gonna say that. You know, it's very typical of older people. You know, they stop you and they just go off into stories. It's standard. You've seen it with everyone. Just that those people's stories are boring. This guy, he can stop me anytime. He can take 2 hours of my life. I don't care.
I think the reason why it makes me happy is because it gives me hope, right? Like if they die at 100 and people can make it, it's like, oh my God, maybe I might not die at 40. I can make it to 55. You know?
Yeah.
It gives me hope for myself to maybe make it a little bit longer.
I hope for you, man. I hope for you.
It was supposed to make 10 giggles.
It's not looking so
Sorry,
good.
man. I'm trying to.
It's okay.
It's not looking very good.
I'm trying to send the link to the podcast to a friend of mine who lives over in France. I met her at my daughter's wedding. She's a friend of my daughter's. She's so hot.
How old is she?
Mid-30s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she's...
Look at Ted, man. Look at Ted.
She's Australian. She grew up in Paris with Australian parents, and but she lives with a guy who's like ex-French Foreign Legion, and now he's like a private security contractor.
You don't match up. I'm sorry.
No, that and the fact that he could kill me with a sideways glance, right?
Oh my God. Speaking of French Foreign Legion, when I was in university, I was taking a class called Strategic Studies. We're going off topic here, but it's super interesting. The teacher was he's an army specialist. Like, this guy has consulted with governments. He's passionate about war, like how war works, how you strategize for war, like the study of warfare.
Right.
And we had him as a teacher at Concordia. Julian Spencer Churchill, his name is, for anyone.
Wow, that's a great name for a military guy.
Yeah.
So, he changed his name. When I was studying there, his name was Julian Schofield. And recently,
then it doesn't count.
No, and then he just recently changed his name. I wonder if he
Spencer Churchill, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and he brought in a guest one day to the class, and he told us, he goes, look, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of sensitive content. If you don't feel well, just leave. Maybe this class in particular won't be for you. And he brought in a former member of the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
Holy shit, the stories that this guy said.
I bet.
Oh my goodness. I'm not going to repeat them here, but they were disgusting. It was just the stuff that he's seen is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mind you, these are the guys that they send in. Like, these aren't the guys that are going to be, okay, go in the front, in the front, whatever the fuck you call them,
behind enemy lines, basically.
These are the
special missions.
Yeah, it's like
so dirty work guys.
Yeah, they're commandos. They're
exactly.
berets,
Mercenaries, basically.
They are mercenaries. Yeah. But it was fascinating.
Yeah,
I was there like, wow.
My girlfriend's dad is a veteran.
Yeah.
He's ex-commando, ex-parachutist, and ex-artillery guy.
This is here for Canada?
Yeah.
Okay. We have commandos.
Well, we have JTF 2, That's the that's
say
Canadian Special Forces. That's like our version of Navy SEALs or.
Yeah, I say commando, but I'm using it in the broader sense.
We don't have a parachute regiment anymore. That was disbanded about 30 years ago because they were
didn't have a
fucking
budget.
around. Well, no, they were fucking around. They were abusing civilians in Somalia.
Really?
Yeah, there was a scandal, and so they disbanded.
Really?
They disbanded the regiment.
Oh
How
shit!
do you dismantle a regiment because of some stupidities that one group does? I mean, just get rid of them, but keep the fucking regiment.
Well, I guess it was public relations exercise in part, I think, and that was at a time when the military wasn't getting a whole lot of support in the media at that time, and if you don't have the media on your side, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah.
Well, what are we talking about, Ted?
It's what did I say when you came in? I have a theme for today. Bad optics.
Bad optics.
It's Bad Optics theme day because there was so much bad optics in the news this past week.
It's just ridiculous.
And three things right out of the gate that occurred to me were Trudeau's Christmas vacation at his $9,300 a night resort.
What?
Let's go.
Yeah.
$9,300 a night
in Jamaica.
It
Yeah.
didn't cost us anything, though. He stayed there for free.
It was still bad optics, though. There was Buddy from Rebel News getting arrested by the RCMP when he was trying to interview Chrystia Freeland, which was bad optics. Whether you agree with Rebel News or not, whether you think David Menzies is a clown or not, you can't just be arresting people because you don't like the questions
We're
they're
going to talk
asking.
about this. We're going to talk about this one.
Yeah, and the third bad optics, and we can even start with this since we're enjoying our Tim Hortons coffee. Why didn't the police deliver our Tim Hortons coffee to us this
God
morning?
damn it. We should
What do you mean?
complain to Tim Hortons. Maybe we should put a Palestinian.
Put a Palestinian flag. Get
You missed that.
a prayer rug face east.
Yeah.
and maybe the Toronto Police Service hand delivered coffee to pro-Palestinian demonstrators who were blocking the streets in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood in Toronto. And a lot of people went off saying, the cops shouldn't be spending taxpayers' money to buy coffee for pro-Palestinian demonstrators. They weren't. The cops didn't buy the coffee. The coffee was bought by friends and or supporters of the demonstrators, but the cops wouldn't allow them to go to where the demonstrators were. They said, we'll take the coffee to them. So the optics ended up being the police hand-delivering coffee to people who were blockading residential streets in one of Toronto's busiest neighborhood, and pro-Palestinian demonstrators who were blockading streets in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood. So how does a Toronto Jewish neighborhood factor into what's going on in Gaza?
It doesn't.
they are responsible. They directly funded. I'm making shit up.
And you know what? Bothering them and, with all these obnoxious demonstrations is definitely going to change the outcome, right? I mean, it's going to stop the war.
This is the same mentality of when people in New York City were beating up Chinese dudes or anyone Asian looking
During
for that
COVID.
matter during COVID. Because they were saying in the news China did it, and then they were just beating up Chinese people as if they had something to do with.
There's a lot of
their government did.
there's a lot of stupid people out there. But to get back to this to this story, I mean, you got to give it to the news covering these things. Why don't you just write cops delivering someone's coffee? It wouldn't work, right? It's not catchy. You put that picture of a cop on the front page, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening over here?" Automatically, you're confusing everyone. At the same time, though, why would the cop deliver the coffee? Like, I get maybe he's a nice guy, but that's not your job.
They said they did it to keep the peace and in order not to inflame the situation. They figured it was the
coffee that was going to keep them calm.
It was the path of least resistance. They thought if they refused to deliver the coffee, it might cause trouble.
Leave the demonstration, get the fuck out of here, and go pick up your coffee, and come back.
Yeah.
There's not a problem.
The more I hear about the police in other cities in Canada, the more I start to appreciate the SQ here. Because even though they're assholes, they're hard asses, they don't give a shit here. They're like what do they call down in? They've been compared to down in Georgia.
State troopers?
State trooper. They've been compared to the Georgian state troopers, the SQ here, which the Georgian state troopers, they're rough as hell. They'll chase you down if you run away, like crazy stuff. It makes me like, it's so, I don't know, it feels weak, man, when you...
Yeah.
So specifically Georgia state troopers? What about other states' state troopers?
I've heard that the Georgian state troopers
Are particularly tough?
Are particularly tough.
Yeah.
They will hunt you down. Like if you take off on them, because in Georgia it happens a lot. If you take off on them, they'll find you. They'll full investigation. Yeah. They're like hounds.
Well, I know someone who took off on the SQ. And they found him.
Oh yeah.
They found him. They were waiting for him when he came home. Yeah. And they arrested him face down on the pavement with a service revolver in the back of his head.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're rough.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you.
And that's what they said. They said to him, when they got him to the station house, they said, you don't fuck around with us. We're not the SPVM.
Yes, yes.
That's what they said. We're not the SPVM, meaning we're not the Montreal City Police. We're the SQ.
We're not the amateurs you normally deal with.
You don't fuck around with us.
I've been pulled over by the SQ, and I lost my license for 7 days. And I wasn't even speeding anyways. There was this whole thing. I was right. I even had a witness. And I remember when I went to court and I had my witness, the prosecutor thought they lost the case because I had a witness. And then the judge goes, no, proof, or you didn't create any, what's it called there? Forgot the word, the reasonable doubt. You didn't create any reasonable doubt, therefore guilty. And the SQ officer was this really large lady, and she was smiling on her way out of the court. Yeah. She was happy. Like she was... They're ruthless.
Dude, they don't want to be in court, man. Do you think these people want to fucking? Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass.
Oh no, she was happy that I got shafted.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I told you the story once. We had like about 50 demonstrators that stormed our office. This was like in 2000 or early.
This is when you were in politics.
Yeah, when I was working in politics. I think it was in either 2007 or early 2008. I can't remember. Yeah, there was a bunch of students. They were, there was stuff happening about. I can't even remember what it was. I think it was tuition. Anyway, and for some reason they came and stormed our office, and it was so organized, right? I mean, one of them came. We opened the door. We're like, oh, someone's coming to the office, and as soon as we opened the office, he just stayed at the door. He blocked the door open, and then they fucking came out of nowhere. They just
flooded.
I was like, what the fuck is going on here? We call the cops, and because it's an elected official's office, it's automatic, the SQ. They don't fuck around. The police station, we were on St. Lawrence, so right across is Jarry Park. There was a police station right there. So they were there within minutes. So they came in, and when the SQ arrived, holy fuck, they came in. They were so thirsty to pound their fucking heads. I didn't understand. We had an emergency door in the back. My boss was there, so he left from the door. They destroyed the fucking place. They destroyed the place.
Wait, the SQ or the protesters?
No, the students.
Okay.
So we get my boss out. He was in another section of the building. And they come in, and they're pressuring us now because they can't just come in and just start kicking people out, right? So we had to sign off a waiver, giving them the right and the access to just come in and just
giving the SQ that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And they were pushing us. They're like, "Oh, just sign here." And you have guys getting dressed. They're putting the shin guards.
This club like this.
Yeah. You have guys fucking. They thought we were gonna sign this. We're like, "What are you crazy? No, we don't want this fucking bad press shit here." What are you talking about? And there were guys. They were strapping on their fucking shin guards. They were getting ready,
getting suited up. These
guys, I don't know if they get to that much action. They're like, "Oh, this is an opportunity for us. Let's go, guys."
No, don't fuck with the SQ.
No, and we're like, no, what are you doing? He's like, no, it's just it's okay. Just sign over here. We'll take care of it. They'll be out of your feet in a couple of minutes. Don't worry about it. We'll go back to work. We're like, no. What are you doing? All we need is one fucking idiot with a phone getting beaten by cops. We don't don't want that kind of shit, you know?
I wonder if you're a recruit at the academy in Nicolet. I wonder if like the SQ is the big leagues and that's what you aspire to.
I think what happens is they see the type of character that you are, and there's a filtering process, in my opinion, because they're all like that.
But is the application process different? Do you apply, or is it the same policing school and then they send you to Montreal or the SQ?
I don't know. My son has a friend who just joined the Toronto Police Service. I should ask him sometime. Because I think he originally was looking at OPP, and he ended up in the Metropolitan Toronto Police.
Because there's only one policing school that I've heard of, and it's the one in Nicolet.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that the SQ goes through that as well. So I'm just wondering how
I'm wondering if you're a recruit, if Quebec kids generally aspire to be Quebec kids who aspire to be police officers. I wonder if the SQ is what they aim for.
Maybe. But then you can get sent anywhere.
Well,
right?
you could end up in the boonies somewhere where nothing's going on.
They're hilarious. Specialized services, expertise, and advanced tools. The way they
You're an advanced tool.
Hey.
No, I've seen these guys in action, guys. They don't kid around.
No.
And I've seen major demonstrations. I mean, the last years of the Charest government between 2010 and 2012, those 1.5 to 2 years before the end of that mandate, where you guys remember those massive student strikes.
The pots and pans?
Oh, my goodness. And, we used to have conventions and they would assemble in tens of thousands. So I have never seen that in my life. I've seen cops and I've seen riot police, but this was another department or another, I don't know, I've never seen them wear that kind of clothing. They had those police training videos where you have a guy running with his padded suit and then the dog
the German
runs.
Shepherd? Yeah.
They wore like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and they didn't have guns on them because they're like, if they put us down, we don't want them to have access to weapons or whatever. So they just had a stick and a shield. That's all they had. That's all they were equipped with.
Yeah, and then
holy shit! Oh my God, the beatings that fucking night. Oh my goodness, crazy.
Yeah, they don't play games. The SQ.
Yeah.
So can we safely assume that the SQ would not have hand-delivered the coffee to the demonstrators?
I doubt it.
No. Hold on. The SQ, what they would have done, they would have been like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll deliver it," and then they would have tossed the coffee.
No, I think they would have just drank it.
Yeah.
No, they would have.
They would have drank it. That's right.
No.
We'll deliver it. Thank you.
Qu'il y a des bains aussi.
No, that's the SPVM. That's the SPVM that would have drank it. Free coffee.
I take it and drink it. I would take the coffee and drink it. Yeah.
I think the SQ would throw it at them. Yeah, we'll deliver it. What? We delivered it.
No, they wouldn't. But yeah, that's one story for bad optics.
Those were bad optics. Yeah.
The other one with Justin Trudeau.
Multiple bad optics in that story.
This fucking guy. What is it that you don't understand? It's like it just seems that you just can't get away from just being humiliated every single freaking time. So this guy,
but I think he's shameless though. I don't think that he feels humiliated,
or maybe he enjoys it.
No, but that could be as well.
Maybe
you know what I mean? Because if he.
Yeah. Look, I get it. I get. Like, you're a human being. You have a family. You have kids. I have absolutely nothing against the idea of a prime minister vacationing with his kids. I have nothing against the fact that taxpayers pay for that. He's the prime minister. He's gonna have to travel with his jet. He's gonna have to be surrounded with his security detail. This is part of the job. It comes with a position. I don't mind that. I get it. Don't be excessive. You can find places to vacation that are a little secluded so that you can have your privacy. You can have that at a reasonable price. He's come under so much scrutiny and so much criticism that he thought that the best idea was for me to go vacation for free because that way I can justify not spending public funds. But still, the image is what's the problem here. You have friends that have these exclusive
Well, he
villas.
got in trouble for that before, right? With the ethics commissioner, however many years ago.
To the Aga Khan's private island.
Yeah.
It just seems that everywhere he goes, he just attracts bad press. What about the time that he vacationed in BC? On Reconciliation Day, on the 1 year, I think, or on the first year,
the first National Reconciliation Day, which he was behind.
Yeah, he created it.
He went surfing.
He was out in BC.
Yeah,
and this time he traveled for free. I have a feeling because Sophie Gregoire was with him. And again, it's your family. You do whatever the hell you want. Yes, you're separated. Maybe the relations are still very friendly. And they're like, look, we're still a family. Why, vacation twice? Why split the kids? Just come join us in Jamaica. I would have had a serious problem had she vacationed on public funds. I'd have a serious problem with that. But
Well, she traveled on public funds, right?
did. So already there's an issue for me. There's a problem for me, and I get it. But she's no longer your wife, and I don't know
Well, they're legally separated.
Yeah, I don't know. The divorce hasn't yet been settled, but I'm sorry, man. There's a limit to these things, and then to add on top of all of that, his jet breaks down again. What's wrong with that fucking plane?
I don't know. Is it one of the brand new ones? Like 2020? They bought it in 20. They bought a couple of Challengers in 2020, I think.
Well, I don't know, because it broke down in India a couple months ago when he went that last trip to India. His plane broke down. The military had to send in a plane to pick him up.
There was another great trip, His first trip to India, where he played Mr. Dress Up. Oh
my God,
that was crazy.
The second one was even worse. But so the military had to send in a plane to pick him up, and it happened again now in Jamaica. So they had to send in another plane. Like, how embarrassing is that? It feels like, that little boy that you forget at the daycare, and he's just waiting for you on the stairs.
Yeah.
Is my plane here yet? I got to go back home. It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
And the resort is owned by a family friend. Mm-hmm. It's an exclusive resort in Jamaica, and the villa that they stayed in, I think I read today, 6 bedrooms and private pool, hot tub, $9,300 a night if you were to pay full freight for it. 9,300 Canadian a night. And they stayed for, I think, 9 nights. I think it was $84,000 in total. But he didn't pay.
Yeah.
Because it was a family friend and they let them stay
he didn't
on the lam. And that's fine, but still the optics of it, when everyone else, not everyone else, but when a lot of us are back home in the shit weather and we're trying to make ends meet and we're trying to scrape together a decent Christmas for our kids, for the leader of the country to fuck off on an exclusive style vacation like that, to me, it's just bad optics, man. It's bad optics. There's stuff you can do at home. Go to the cottage at Harrington Lake.
Yeah.
Have a Canadian Christmas here at home. You've got a beautiful property there with all the amenities that you would have in Jamaica. You just don't have the beach and the sunshine. But suck it up, fuck. Like the rest of us are sucking it up a whole lot. You could suck it up maybe a tiny bit and set the example. You're the leader. Yeah. You're supposed to be setting an example.
The perception is definitely bad, especially during this period of time where economically things aren't going that well. Where you've been struggling since 2015 to balance your books, and
I thought the books were going to balance themselves.
He's still waiting for that to happen. He's confident that it might actually just happen. But when you've plunged us into these record-breaking deficits, and you're out there living the best, your best life ever.
Yeah, whether it's on the public dime or not, the optics are so fucking bad. They're so bad. It suggests to me he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And there's a huge sense of entitlement there as well. But when you grew up like that, I suppose you would come by that sense of entitlement naturally, right?
I saw an article, because I saw 2 articles. So one of them was the fact that he stayed in this luxurious resort, and I was like, oh my God, man. Immediately, I thought, fuck this, it just looks bad already, right? But then there was another article in the Toronto Sun that says, in the article, about that particular resort. It says, it's unclear if he stayed in the great house of this former sugar plantation, which once boasted as many as 162 slaves.
Jesus.
Or in one of the other homes, such as Frankfurt. Either way, it comes with a hefty price tag. Apparently this used to be some, I don't know if it was a sugar plantation or some, they had slaves. So the owners of this...
So he vacationed... Interesting.
He vacationed. Interesting.
That is fascinating.
Vacationing is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
I once vacationed.
It's because
It's very interesting.
That's interesting.
it's because I'm like, let me just start it and I'll think of a joke, and then I couldn't think of anything, and I was like,
Usually you think of the joke before, and then you just blur.
or it just comes to you. Sometimes it just,
it does. But the one with Rebel News is the one that really got everyone's attention in terms of bad optics. What did you think of that, Ted? Because I'll tell you because there's a lot to unfold in that.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that for sure. I understand that Rebel News is not everybody's favorite news agency. Some people would argue it's not even news. Well, who gets to define what news is nowadays? We're in an era where
this is considered news.
Yeah. Well, we're also in an era where so-called mainstream media is being openly funded by the government.
Yeah.
So there's an enormous conflict right there. Rebel News is not funded by the government. Rebel News is constantly calling out the government. That's why the government, Trudeau hates them.
I think he's blocked them. I don't think. They have limited access.
Yeah, he's on record as being. He blamed them for riling people up during the trucker convoy. But this guy David Menzies, who was arrested by an RCMP officer who was part of Chrystia Freeland's security detail. He's a bit of a parody of himself. Like he wears what'd you call his hat? Inspector Gadget?
Yeah, Inspector Gadget. Yeah. He wears a trench coat and a hat. Who dresses up like
trench coat and like a Panama hat in January. But I mean, he's, as far as I know, he was credentialed for that event where he was arrested. It was an event that was marking the anniversary of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard shooting down that passenger airliner.
Like 50 some Canadians had died.
Yeah. That was this time of the year in 2020. And so he approached Chrystia Freeland and asked her, why has the government not designated the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Council, I believe is their official title, as a terrorist organization? And as he was walking with her and asking her this question, an RCMP officer stepped in front of him, a plainclothes RCMP officer, stepped in front of him, and they bumped, and so the cop arrested him for assault. Like the cop initiated it, and then he arrested him for assault. And it was, whether you're on board with Rebel News's politics or not, and regardless of how you feel about the absurdity that David Menzies presents at times, you can't be arresting reporters. You can't be setting them up and arresting them under false pretenses like that. Like that's the kind of shit that happens in communist countries, Yeah.
Look.
And he was ultimately released without charges because it was so patently obvious that it was engineered.
It was obvious.
It was an embarrassment to the government and to the police.
And I read somewhere that they're also looking into that police officer. So he's definitely getting reprimanded because it is obvious what happened. Initially, here's what I thought. First of all, any fucking professional journalist that I've seen or met doesn't do shit like this. Nobody lunges at a fucking politician with a microphone in their mouth. Who does that?
In the movies, they do.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we should actually play the clip. I sent you the clip on.
And he didn't even lunge. He walked up beside her.
I sent you the clip on.
And she did her part. She didn't reply. She just walked. She even had a smirk on her face. She found it entertaining.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Well, she knew what was coming. If you check your Twitter direct messages,
we can't live in a society of.
No, but what I'm saying is that
he listening to me or not?
I am.
He's looking for it. He was definitely not the only journalist there. And usually these events, they have an area where they're going to scrum or they're expecting the politicians to go and give interviews. This fucking guy probably broke ranks. He knew that she was going to come from somewhere. He's like, I'll just fucking storm at her, follow me. Robert Menzies is known for doing shit like this. David Menzies, sorry. It's not the first time he gets arrested, by the way.
It's not, no.
And I want to get to Pierre Poilievre because let's watch the video and then we'll get to the thing later.
Here he comes with his hat on the left of the screen there.
Who dresses like that, man?
Yeah, he does, bro.
Like a 1950s journalist
you're just jealous
in Chicago for a Chicago
style,
newspaper.
Bro. You sound a
The
little jealous.
IRGC is not a terrorist group. Why is your government...
Hold on. I just let's restart this.
He didn't lunge at her. He didn't lunge at her.
He lunged. You said he lunged at her.
Freeland,
Initially, I thought he did, but now after reviewing it, yeah, he's pretty okay. He's walking next to
why
her.
is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? What?
Hey, you assaulted me. What are you talking about? Look how stupid he looks with that hat on.
Police, you're under...
This was all planned. They knew that this was going to happen.
pushed into me. I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here, and you just bumped into me.
See, he's got his credentials for that event. He's accredited for the event.
What is your name and your badge?
Anyways, he looks so stupid. Like, fucking Indiana Jones with a microphone.
And of course, now they're doing send us money to help us with with our legal
so
fund.
Look, and I agree with you. You know, whether you like, I've never liked Rebel News. I don't find that they're credible. I mean, they look for sensationalism to bring out stuff like that, and whatever. That's their style. It's on them.
But they'll call out shit that the mainstream media will not. call out.
That's true.
So
That's true.
they do serve a purpose.
Yeah, but
they just go overboard.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
exactly. Like when every time they've announced something, you're like, "Oh shit, what the hell is this?" There's always a factor of exaggeration, and they always go overboard.
Yeah, they're sensationalists for sure.
Is this a strip club advertisement? This is amazing. I don't know what's happening here.
Look where his eyes went. Oh, is that an ass? I think that's a woman bent over.
Inspector Gadget, more like Inspector Fag.
So here's what I thought. First of all, you're probably not the only journalist over there. Like, respect the fucking ranks. You're gonna get to answer your questions. So for me, it just shows that this has been stated. They knew this guy's like, I'm gonna go there, and you know the security detail isn't with her. They know she's gonna walk. They know that it's a safe area. It was blocked off, so she's not accompanied. They're like, let her walk. She knows where she has to go. Nobody's there to kind of interfere.
Yeah, he didn't.
They know what they're doing.
He didn't block her. He wasn't aggressive with her. He walked next to her.
No, but what I'm saying is that he's the only fucking journalist there. So why did he? I'm sure there's some sort of space where there were other journalists.
Yeah, maybe he's better at.
No, he's not better. This is all done purposely. I think. They're.
How's that? Hold on. I'm getting frustrated with you. How is this done purposely?
Because
by Rebel News, they planned this with the cops so that
No, I'm not saying.
I think what Poseidon's saying is maybe he wants to get a scoup.
Scoop.
Yeah.
Why haven't you?
What do you mean? But if you're with another 50 journalists, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating with 50, but let's say it's you and a dozen other journalists, right? How you know who's gonna get? But
they're not gonna. If
that's
it's
what a scrum is.
Well, yeah, but you know what? They're not going to call on Rebel News. If Christopher Freeland's people are running a scrum or a news conference, they're not going to let him. They're not going to let him ask a question.
But at the same time, Ted, he knows that Christopher Freeland won't answer his question either. You think he thought that, let me go find her when she walks up, I'll put the mic in her face and she's going to answer my question on why the government hasn't...
well, then he's put her on the spot and forced her hand.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, there you go. That's for the clip.
No. It's because they want to show people that they won't address Rebel News, that'll actually ignore them. Because if they...
But it's public. The government hasn't addressed Rebel News in years. They don't give a fuck about it. They even when they select him and they don't know the Rebel News, like I can't remember where he was, Justin Trudeau, where they picked out a journalist, and the minute she said Rebel News, he let her finish the question. He goes, I won't answer to your media, or I don't recognize your media, or some shit like that, he told her. They know they won't get an answer, so they're just looking for the clip. I don't know, look, and we're speculating here, but based on my experience with these kind of events, when you're expecting a high-level politician somewhere, the media can't be fucking loose everywhere. They tell them, look, stay over here. There's a scrum that is planned. There's a press conference maybe that is already planned, so everyone might get their turn or not, whatever it is, but they have a play. Like, you can't, what are you doing? So he knows what he was doing. I'm glad that he wasn't arrested, because evidently...
Well, he was arrested, but he was eventually released.
Charged,
they took him away in the fucking paddy wagon.
They handcuffed him, bro.
Yeah, with his hat, his trench
How
coat.
old is he? He's probably in his late
He's
60s.
He looks
for
like
sure.
he's sick in his 60s. Yeah,
Poor guy, man.
Yeah.
It probably hurt.
Yeah, you think he's wearing anything under that trench coat?
Who knows? Who knows?
He's wearing a what?
I said, do you think he's wearing anything under that trench coat?
I think
What do you think about this?
Any comment on that?
Oh my god!
Here's my little rebel.
That's funny.
But you and
What's the Inspector Gadget theme? Inspector Faggot.
aside from this, what I found interesting is how Pierre Poilievre immediately picked up the clip and he's like, this is what happens with free press under Trudeau. And guys, we've criticized Trudeau. I think every week we fucking criticize the poor guy.
Good. Should be every day.
Pierre Poilievre has either forgotten how it was under Harper or he remembers, but he just doesn't give a shit. The press, and I've spoken to a lot of journalists, it wasn't a happy moment. It wasn't a happy period for the press when Harper was in power. The rules and the regulations that they put in place to either restrict them from answering questions or to limit their number of questions, it was horrible.
Well, Harper had the same relationship with the rest of the media that Trudeau has with Rebel.
Yeah.
Because the media is traditionally very liberal.
Yeah, but
And-
he was hard on them. And I was listening, in fact, to what the fuck is her name? Emmanuelle Latraverse. She used to work for Radio Canada in Ottawa. Now she works for TVA LCN. She's on TV. She usually comments with Mario Dumont, and she has her own program there. And she was saying how, she remembered when she was covering the news on the Hill for Radio Canada. There was a moment during the campaign, I can't remember which campaign it was that she said, I think it was the 2015 campaign, where Harper, the media convoy that used to follow Harper around the country for his campaign, he never allowed them within 50 meters. So all press conferences that he used to make during his campaign, it was cordoned off and they were 50 meters away. They could barely...
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, she was saying that. She goes, we can even barely see him. He was so fucking small. We needed a microphone to ask him questions.
Why would they do that?
Because that's how he was.
Yeah.
So, and her whole point, and I agree with her, is like, fucking Poilievre, calm the fuck down, man, because you're
How do
forgetting
you think
how
his
it was.
relationship will be with the media? Because I think he's going to get elected, don't you?
If things continue the way they are, I think he is the
polls
next
say
Prime
he
Minister
will,
of
yeah.
Canada.
Because the media, they
hate him.
They hate him.
They
yeah.
hate him.
Yeah, because he's a they'd hate whoever was the conservative
But,
leader.
look,
they're not going to like anybody if they're a conservative.
Yeah. Look, it didn't start off. Like I said, it didn't start off nicely with Harper either. And I know this because his press attaché is a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
Jimmy Sudas.
Yeah.
Him too, he's on TV now. He's done a lot of great things, but he was his press attaché and he took a lot of fucking heat for this shit. And I don't know if it was him deciding, because he has that kind of attitude, or if it was higher up in the PMO. All right, Jimmy, this is what we're doing with the media. You take care of it, and he had to take all the heat for it. I don't know, but there's even articles, a lot of articles on Dimitri Sudas and his relationship with the media under Harper. It wasn't easy.
Is Jimmy the nickname for Dimitri?
Dimitri, yeah, Jimmy.
I didn't know that. I learned
Jimmy,
something.
yeah. When you hear Jimmy, his actual name is Dimitri.
And do you actually pronounce it Timmy?
Jimmy?
Timmy?
Ela Jimmy?
Like sorts?
Yeah, sorts.
Suflaki sorts?
Suflaki sorts. Ela Jimmy.
Timmy, yay. Timmy, yeah.
And then there's variations. There's Jimmy, there's Zimako, like a small Jimmy, and there's Zimara, the big Jimmy.
Okay.
Zimara.
What about Zimaki?
Yeah, Zimaki, So, yeah, all this to say that if
Zimukaki,
Poilievre
it's
actually
gay
does
Jimmy.
win, I think the first couple of years is going to be just horrendous for the media.
So no honeymoon period at all.
No, I don't think so. But I think everything is just going to fall in place like it always does.
Yeah.
I think, look what happened with Trump. They hated him. They hated him in the beginning. But then they're like, okay, well, we have to deal with him for 4 years. We might as well just go along with it. And it was okay, right? Towards the end. Like the two and a half last years of his mandate, it wasn't bad.
I used to laugh when he would go after Jim Acosta from CNN. You are a horrible person.
You work for a terrible media.
Yeah.
Your media. I don't like your media organization.
You're the enemy of the people.
No, not you. Not
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No, and he's pointing. Not you.
Yeah.
Not you either. Not you. He kicked him out. He kicked him out of the press gallery. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was and they brought him in like whatever 24 hours later.
Always entertaining, whether you like Trump or not. Always entertaining.
Yeah. I think he's gonna like. I think he's demonstrated already, Poilievre, that he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about the media. He gets way more attention and visibility without them. He doesn't need them. And I think this is the big.
And is social media a factor in that? Is it because he can get traction on social media without having to deal with journalists?
Look at those quote unquote documentaries that he released. You know, the one on housing, and I think there was another one that came out. It got millions of views on Twitter. Like, it's incredible. You don't get that. Which media is going to give you that kind of coverage today?
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Well, because you don't have to answer any tough questions. You can say whatever you want to say. You can tailor the message to suit your political purposes.
It's not only about being able to say what you want to say. It's about the reach that you get. It's the number of people,
for sure.
the eyeballs that you get on you know, on your platform, on your ideas, on your whatever, you know. And I think that's the big challenge now for the media because they know that they're not the only player. In fact, not only are they not the only player, they're so far behind being anything valuable as a player. And he knows that.
They're fighting a losing battle against social media.
Yeah. So for them, okay, whatever. They work for the media. They're going to report the information. But in terms of being that media that provides the information to the user, they've lost that battle a long time ago. And they know that. And he knows it. So he doesn't care. He does not give a shit. You know, he called out a CBC, or was it a CBC reporter, where there's a video that the Liberals have published where they it's like a split screen. You have Donald Trump on one side and Poilievre on the other, and they have found clips where they say almost similar things.
Okay.
They had that clip with Trump, not you, I don't like you, I don't like your media, no, not you either. They have that, and then it goes to Poilievre. I think, I can't remember the journalist. And he's laughing, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, we have a liberal, whatever the fuck he called it.
I know who you mean. That's from a couple of years ago, I think. It was a global TV reporter.
Heckler or something. Yeah, he called him.
It was a global
Was
guy.
it global?
It was global. What was his name? It was Global's Ottawa correspondent. Yeah.
Warren? No, not Warren Kinsella.
No. I'm going to find out now because I need to know.
What do you need? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
So yeah, he was there.
Were you talking to me this whole time?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Why don't you just fucking focus, man? What are you looking at? Stop looking at porn over there.
I apparently, so I just found this out. Apparently, there's a snuff film going around the dark web featuring Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin, and apparently she surgically removed the face of the teenage girl and wore it as a mask.
Bro, what the fuck are you looking at, man?
This is on Twitter.
Yeah, okay. I don't know who the journalist was, but anyways, so very similar stuff like that, you know? So he's like, yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a liberal heckler here that has infiltrated the media. Like, he was so mean.
David Aiken.
Yeah, that's right.
David Aiken from Global, yeah. Yeah, it was 2022, yeah.
He got fired?
Newly minted Conservative Party of Canada leader Pierre Poilievre being heckled at his debut news conference by Global News chief political correspondent David Aiken.
So I think we're in for some laughter with Poilievre. I mean,
well, Poilievre I find is a lot quicker on his feet than Trudeau. Like, I think it'll be a much more interesting back and forth with Poilievre in the media than you get with Trudeau.
I sense a slight lack of respect, a little bit.
Oh, a slight.
Yeah.
I sense open disdain.
Yeah. So at some point he's gonna have to,
rein that in a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
play the game.
Yeah, man. Just look, they're there. They're doing their job. Just fucking answer the question.
Yeah.
You don't have to put anyone down. The other day, I think he had a question from someone from Canadian Press, and he destroyed them also. And he just calls them out. He doesn't answer the question. They're like, well, your media had to rectify 3 false articles or whatever the hell.
That is right out of the Trump playbook.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, straight. Like, dude, just answer the fucking question. You know what I mean? Instead of answering, it's like, you're from Canadian Press, right? Yeah. Well, just for anyone listening, on 3 occasions you wrote misinformation that you had to correct and apologize for and withdraw or whatever the hell he said. But you don't do that. Just answer the question, man. So I don't know how it's going to be, but I do have a feeling that he will be our next prime minister. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Finally.
I have an idea for a sponsor for this show. I think we should get Nike
Oh,
to sponsor this show because they need somebody now.
They're looking for big players.
They've ended their relationship with Tiger Woods.
Did you ever think that would be possible?
That Tiger Woods and Nike would, well, I thought they would go their separate ways like 10 years ago or however long ago it was when he was outed as a serial womanizer.
They didn't abandon him then.
No.
They stood by him.
Well, that just speaks to the power of Tiger and how much people prioritize. Okay, so you're a cheating, immoral womanizer, but holy Jesus, you're a good golfer. So we're going to stand by you because people love to watch you golf.
It was a good bet.
Yeah, it was. It was.
If anything, I would say he funded some of the schooling for those beautiful young ladies. You know, it could be very expensive in the United States.
Yeah.
I think he did a good thing.
So what's the thing now? Is he going with another company or is he creating his own brand?
Well, I think he has created his own. Yeah,
brand.
the Tiger Woods, the TW. Yeah, but I heard the other day when I was watching that story that he was open to the possibility of signing on with another major sponsor. Yeah. He made $500 million over the 27 years that he was
just on endorsements
in partnership with, just on Nike endorsements. Yeah. Nike alone was worth $500 million for him.
Wow.
That's a pretty sweet gig, boy.
Because I know that when he came back, I think it was his back injury. I can't remember what. There was an extended absence, and then he came back, and he was wearing FootJoy. And I remember everyone made a deal of it. It was like, oh, what happened to Nike? And he said that it's better for his back. I mean, the design is less painful for him. And then I think he went back to Nike. But
are you talking about shoes?
Yeah. FootJoy. It's FJ.
Okay.
They're a very popular brand in golf. FootJoy. And I was reading the article that you sent about this, and it seems that FootJoy is working on, or seems to have the door open for him to work on some deal like where he could make his own brand, but the vehicle would be like FootJoy, kind of like Jordan has with Nike.
Right.
Well, he had that already with Nike, the TW. It was already his brand.
I think, I have an idea for a product. Let's say he makes sneakers, right, with Nike. Tiger, his deal is done, right? You said?
Yes.
He backed out, yeah.
Oh, he backed out? Who's
Did he back out or did they break it? Because they're looking to save money. I think it was it might have been a mutual call, but if you notice in that story, the last part of that story, they talked about how Nike's looking to cut $2 billion from their budget.
Oh, shit.
They're looking to save $2 billion. And so, a big fat endorsement contract with Tiger Woods would be a pretty good place to start.
Wow.
So I have an idea for him if he wants to compete directly with them. He makes his own shoes that are similar to Nike, and instead of the logo, the swoosh, it's a tiger that's in a weird position to look like a swoosh, and it just writes "rar"
in capitals, caps lock,
in minuscule.
Oh, minuscule.
Because it's not rar, it's rar.
So it's just kind of under. It's just like sort of a.
Yeah. Yeah, like more like kind of like
like a large kitty cat.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of gay to me.
Yeah, it is. It is a little game. Have you seen his son golf?
Yes.
Holy
not lately, but I saw him like 2 or 3 years ago at some father-son
I've seen him lately now because he's competing. His son is competing.
He is. He's a chip off the old block.
Holy shit! Is that
Charlie.
kid good? Yeah.
Yeah. He's the same as me. He's got 2 kids named Charlie and Sam. Only his Sam is a girl, Samantha. My Sam's a boy, Samuel.
Pretty girl.
I got
the last one I saw
Sam
a couple of weeks ago. I think it was right before Christmas.
I would have hope she's a pretty girl. Have you seen Mom?
She was, yeah. She was caddying for Dad, and he was playing with his son, and that kid is just unbelievable.
How old is he?
15.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because I can't fucking Yeah.
Well, it's the most frustrating game in the world.
But I love it, and I don't take it that seriously, so I don't
Yeah.
get frustrated. I laugh at myself.
Do you play a lot?
I do. Well,
Yeah.
I'd love to play more than I do.
Right.
My wife gives me one game a year. I try to push it to 3, but it rarely happens. But at least that one game happens in Tremblant. It's over a weekend with a bunch of guys, and it's just fun, you know?
See if you can find a video of, see if you can find a couple of things, Poseidon. A video of Charlie Woods golfing and a video of Sam Woods. I'd like to see what she looks like. How old is she now?
She's, I don't know, probably close to around 20, maybe less.
Okay, so,
Oh, okay, good.
so it's not too creepy for me to watch. No.
No, probably not. I don't know. Let's just wait for those comments. Let's find out how old she is, and then we can.
Oh, no, I can't. It's weird. She looks like her dad, but she looks like Tiger Woods.
No, I think she looks more like the mom. Put the video up.
No, she has a similar smile and teeth.
Well, yeah, well, it's her dad. Obviously, there's going to be some similarities.
Yeah, well, that doesn't mean she can't be good looking. No,
she's a very beautiful
one of my ex-wife's friends once described Sam as a good-looking Ted. He looks like Ted, only he's good-looking.
What a shot to the balls.
Well, you know what? It made me laugh. And she's right. He does look like me, only he's way better looking than me because his mom's good looking, right?
Yeah, it was the good mix.
Yeah, it's the combination.
Just find it, man. It happened a couple weeks ago. There was a
video
tournament
of her
they were playing
golfing.
at.
A video of her golfing.
No,
of him golfing,
No,
Charlie.
just put Tiger Woods with kids. There she is.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, she looks because Mom is Swedish, right?
Yeah,
Mom is blonde and fair. Oh. She's definitely got Tiger's looks.
She does look like him. Yeah, I thought she looked more like her mom.
There's the old man. He's still in great shape, eh?
Good for him.
Yeah, he takes good care of himself. Well, the hair's not doing too well, though, is it? There's Charlie. Yeah.
Show his son playing. It's so nice, you know, that he's doing this and he's having fun with his kids.
I could have a lot of fun with my kids for that kind of money too.
Yeah.
Give me that kind of money, I'll have a fucking ball with my kids.
So, do you golf, Ted?
No.
I would love to golf.
No. As Terry DeMonte once said, I don't even want to do something I like for 5 hours.
I love golf. Fuck, I love golf.
I can see where people get hooked on it.
Yeah, and I suck. Like I play around 100 around there, which is.
You know what I started to play the last couple of weekends? It's a lot of fun. Is pickleball.
I heard that's fun.
Yeah,
it's like a mini easier version of tennis.
It's exactly. It's a cross between tennis and ping pong.
Yeah, with a bigger racket.
Yeah.
But the ball doesn't bounce like squash
that's
or
the
racquetball.
problem. Yeah, the ball doesn't bounce. You're expecting more bounce out of the ball.
But it's good because you can put a lot of force into it. You know?
Yeah. But
are you playing with a tennis ball?
No, we're playing with the pickleball.
Okay.
With an actual pickleball. Okay. Yeah, and it's good fun. And I thought I wasn't old enough yet for pickleball, but the guys I'm playing with are like half my age.
Wow.
They're like, come on, man, we're going to go play pickleball. And I said, fuck, you guys are giving up early.
It's so bad how we associate certain sports to old people.
Yeah.
Pickleball? How fucking old are you? Curling? What's the matter with you?
No, it's good fun, though. It's good fun. I recommend it. You should check it out.
Curling
Give it a try.
are just a bunch of really passionate housewives.
Yeah. You ever curl?
No.
That's the most difficult, easy-looking thing I've ever done. Like curling looks easy, yeah, and it looks easy, right? It looks like all you got to do is you just take that big rock and push it down the ice,
just
right?
Aim,
yeah. I fell down. I hit my head on the ice. No, yeah, it was fucking hard.
Pushing a rock is actually the easiest part. Those other guys brooming
that's hard, because you really got to put effort into it. But maintaining your balance while you're pushing the rock down the ice, like you know how they sort of slide down on one knee. I can't fucking do that without falling over. And one time I fell over and I hit my head.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I always laughed at people that would play curling. We had a curling team at school. It didn't go so well for those kids, but but I remember once I think it was Winter Olympics. I can't remember what year it was, and I don't know how. It was just in front of the TV, and they were showing curling, obviously, and I stopped and I watched. And it was super interesting. Like, it's super strategic. It's really.
So you understand the game?
I don't
Because I don't understand.
I don't understand it. I
don't-
think you have to get close to the center, and then I don't know. I guess there's different
knock
points.
the other guys out.
But it's very strategic because you have a certain number of whatever they're called, balls or whatever the hell they're called, stones that you can throw. And it's strategic, like where you place the first one, and then you can put another one to block the other team from. Like, it was really, really interesting. And I was looking for it for over an hour. I was like, fuck, okay, cool. It was really cool. It was really nice.
To me, it just looks like really complicated darts.
It's kind of like darts.
Darts,
It is.
it's darts, but it's cold.
Yeah, darts, but it's cold. You can't feel your balls, and there's people sweeping for some reason.
It's pretty cool though, the way they curl the thing and they place it right where they want. Definitely, I always made fun of that sport, but then when I started looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? This is really. It looks really difficult. It looks
Is the
really
curling in
challenging.
Greece? Does Greece? No, eh? Because there's no ice.
No, there is ice because they have hockey now.
I think.
Yeah.
I think the older you get, the more you start to appreciate certain things,
Like curling,
like curling.
It's kind of like, what's that game the Italians play?
bocce ball.
Yeah,
It's
but
exactly
not,
like that.
not appreciate it like it's the greatest thing in the world, but you appreciate it for what it is.
But you get it.
Exactly. you
Yeah.
get
Like,
it, and
okay,
then-
now I get it.
Like when I was younger, I used to think stretching was for homosexuals. But now that I'm 30, I realize
I like the
importance of
pause.
stretching.
I always thought stretching was for homosexuals.
Well, listen, after the first time after pickleball, I could hardly walk for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I keep myself in decent shape. I swim a lot. I got an exercise bike at home.
You're using
But it's
different muscles.
But well, that's it. That's it. Yeah. And there's a lot of stops and starts, right?
I'd be worried about my ankles fucking popping out or something.
It was hamstrings that got me. My hamstrings
man.
and my ass. I had a sore ass.
Yeah.
My ass muscles.
Well, it
hurt.
makes sense. It's called pickle ball.
Yeah. It sounds like a medical condition, doesn't it?
I got pickleball.
I got the pickleball.
Because somebody's pickle. No, because
Apply
somebody's.
some cream on that pickleball there. I remember when I first met my wife. I don't know how she convinced me to do the Montreal Marathon.
Jesus.
I didn't run the marathon. Obviously, she's like, "Oh, it'll be fun. Let's do the 5K." And I'm like,
Even that.
And I'm like, I don't think I own running shoes. I'm like, well, I don't think I've worn an athletic shoe in fucking aside from my golf shoes, right? So then I remember the first thing I did, I looked at the map and I'm like, okay, where does 5K take me? I was living in Parkex at my parents, and I was like, oh, okay, it's from my house up in Beaumont to Marché Central. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's easy, man. I can run from Beaumont all the way to the Lacadie Circle. Fuck, I can do that.
And how old were you at the time?
Fuck, when was this? This was in 2009, I think. So how old was that? I was born in 81. So, 28.
Yeah, 30,
28,
yeah,
let's say 28,
30-ish.
29 years old. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So two things. One, I went and bought running shoes literally the day before the race. Big mistake. And then she went to pick up, the number and the shirts.
The bib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm here at the place. What size should I get? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Get extra large, I mean, I was exactly like this,
It was too small.
She's like, okay, I'll get extra large. I don't know how, the extra large fits on athletes, but the extra large on actual extra large was like so fucking tight. I felt embarrassed. I had to take 2 chairs. I tried on. It was too tight. I'm like, there's no fucking way I can race. My tits were up my fucking stomach. It was. I was like, I can't be seen in public like this, and I had to stretch it, dude.
Yeah, you would have gone for the marathon. They would have told you, buddy, the gay cracker rate is.
I have fat friends that we used to make fun of because their mom used to stretch their shirt. They would take 2 chairs, stick them together, and they kind of stretch the shirt over it.
Right, and let it sit there for a little while.
We would make fun of them. I'm like, what an idiot. And I had to fucking do that. My mom walks home. She walked in. She's like, what's going on here? I'm like, I need to stretch the shirt. And she looked at me with this look. I was like, oh my God, she's about ready to disown me right now. So we ran the race. My feet were destroyed in the brand new shoes. My nipples were sore. Holy shit! I didn't know that. There's a thing called runner's nipples or jogger's nipples or whatever
That's
it's
news
called.
to me.
Yeah. They tape their nipples because from the rubbing of the shirt,
Oh shit!
they start bleeding, and it's
fuck.
It's a common thing. It's a common thing. Joggers' nipples.
That's why I don't run. If my nipples get rubbed, I
That's
get
the only
turned on.
reason.
Yeah.
Now all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm running around with an erection. That's not fun, you know. People don't want to see that.
No.
So my nipples were fucking sore, just blowing air on them. I was like, it was horrible.
Why is that fucking guy blowing on his nipples? What a fucking weirdo! Somebody call the cops.
And then I have a friend that jogs and he goes, "Yeah, dude, you got to tape your nipples." I'm like, "What the fuck? This should be somewhere. They should write this shit somewhere."
So what kind of tape are you supposed to put on?
I don't know. I guess one that doesn't hurt when you fucking
I
rip it
guess.
off. I don't know.
I can't believe runners and strippers have something in common. This is crazy.
Yeah, joggers' nipples. And I literally couldn't walk for about a week and a half. Every
I believe it.
muscle in my body was hurting. 5K.
Have you guys seen the guys that do the what's that French race there with the bicycles?
Yeah, the Tour de France.
Le Tour de France. Have you
There's
guys?
one fucking race, bro. It's in France. It's with bicycles. What's
What do they call
thing,
that?
man? That sporting event where they're on bikes. They're in France.
Is it La Cour de Bicyclette?
What's that called?
Have you seen their legs?
Dude,
after,
that
Tour de
is a
France?
hell of a challenge.
That's crazy. They
That
can't
goes
walk
on
properly.
for days, right? I mean, it's in phases.
I'd like to see them do it on unicycles, especially the mountain stage.
Yeah,
Et voici Bouffon le clown! Ah ouais, Bouffon!
Did you see? I don't know if it was from this year's or last year's race. There's a clip that went fucking viral, and I think it's in France, unless it's some other race somewhere else. They're driving by. It's out in the country, on the countryside, and they're coming by, and there's this fucking horse that jumps over the fence. You haven't seen that? Search it.
no.
Oh, it's the funniest thing
And they
ever.
all wipe out?
No, they don't. The thing just starts running. So you have all the cyclists.
Oh,
that
the
are
horse
coming
is
down.
running
I
with the
think I've seen
cyclists.
The horse just keeps running and jumps the fence, and he's just running freely on the fucking highway.
They have some pretty crazy accidents in.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Because they're going fucking fast, man. And if one guy goes, it's a chain reaction, right?
yeah.
They all go.
And their bindings on their shoes are so tight because of the speed they're going at. I mean, that thing doesn't clip out that easily, I think.
Yeah. And
So they just fall with the bike. You see them tumbling, attached still to the bike.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, and thighs, like Poseidon was saying, like fucking oak trees.
Yeah.
Crazy, just crazy.
How crazy is that? The arms.
I can't find the video of the horse running. With
No.
Oh, it's too bad.
Fuck, Tour de France horse. No.
Tour de Cheval.
What's the name? The Armstrong guy?
Lance Armstrong,
Lance
yeah.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be fucking canceled, but this guy's he's living it up. He's
Is
giving,
he?
He's giving conferences and he's become
He's a
like
cheating
this
motherfucker,
Yeah,
right?
he's become like
I found it.
he's become like this super motivational guy now. Like, how do you bounce back from something?
I don't know. Well, Tiger Woods bounced back, right? Look at him.
Oh no, you don't see the part where he actually jumps to the fence.
the-
That's the funniest fucking part.
Yeah, the horse is yelling, "Hey, the gay village is the other way! Hey!"
Look at this guy.
Peur là.
Oui, il y a un coureur qui s'est arrêté.
Oui, il s'est arrêté.
On peut imaginer tout de suite que les commissaires
So he jumped over a fence to get out of the pasture to begin with?
Yeah.
qui s'est arrêté.
He's just running with them.
En principe, les commissaires n'ont pas
Nice horse.
prendre
He's beauty, eh?
de décision.
That's a good-looking horse.
Qui va essayer de faire sortir le
There was another
Oh, he's winning!
cheval quand il
there was another
Yeah, he's
clip.
not going to pass the drug test, though.
No.
il allait droit.
There was another clip. I think
I'm surprised that they didn't try to catch it and try to suck its dick.
Très gênant pour les coureurs.
What's wrong with you?
Sorry,
fuck?
Mom.
I don't know what's wrong with me today,
Yeah,
man.
nothing's
I'm
ever
so-
wrong with you.
No, but today
Yeah,
especially.
why is today any different?
No, but speaking of animals interfering, I think at some point right after this, when I saw this, it was the Athens Marathon, and there were some people sharing clips where I don't know where they were running, and there was a bunch of sheep everywhere in the middle of the street. I don't know if it was in Athens or probably up in. It was probably in Athens. I mean, there's only one marathon.
Afghanistan.
And there were just sheep everywhere, and it's like, yeah, well, there you have it. Fucking Greece for you. You're running a marathon, and you have sheep kind of crossing the road.
And then what do you think happened, Poseidon? But
Go ahead.
I got nothing this time.
Oh my god.
I mean, probably because
come on, it's a natural segue from the horse and the dick.
No, I know. Well, those sheep had probably already been fucked by the herder already, so it was nothing to do to
Hey,
it.
Oscar Pistorius, that
I don't got it today, Ted. Sorry, I'm not making you laugh.
You
as
made
much.
me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel disappointed in myself.
so what's the deal with Oscar Pistorius?
Oscar Pistorius is the Olympian from, I forget which...
South Africa, I think.
Yeah, well, he's from South Africa, but I forget which games he competed in. He's the guy with no legs. He had the spring-loaded...
That murdered his wife.
Yeah, well, he shot it was his girlfriend. He shot
his girlfriend. Yeah.
He served 9 years and now he's out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's caused a big stir in South Africa because it's brought attention to the fact that South Africa is notorious for going too easy, a lot of people think, on violence against women.
Yeah.
And this being just another example of it. Like, violence against women is a problem there to begin with, and then the consequences are, well, we see. He shot and killed this woman.
Yeah.
And 9 years later...
What does that
he's
get
out.
you here in Canada? Is it life?
I would.
I mean, it's murder,
yeah,
right?
It depends on whether it's first degree, second degree. But I think first degree murder gets you. It could get you life with no parole, or life without parole for 25 years, or something like that. And I remember, it's. I don't mean to devalue her life, but I remember when he shot her. I remember seeing a picture of her. What a stunningly beautiful woman! What a spectacularly beautiful woman!
Yeah.
And it's awful that anyone should be murdered like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't recall what the motivation was. I think that there were and maybe remain some psychological issues with him.
I remember when that story broke. I think there was something about him waking up and he thought that someone was breaking into there was some whack story behind the murder. He was trying to play it as if he wasn't
Mistaken identity.
Yeah,
that rings a bell. Yeah, you're
But
right.
she was in the bathroom or something, and he shot her through the wall.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it was pretty lame and suspect. The alibi. Yeah.
But 9 years.
Yeah. And 9 years is a long time. I wouldn't want to go to prison for 9 years.
Especially with no legs.
Did he go to a special prison?
I don't know.
It was special, all right.
Do they remove the legs because they could be used as weapons, or?
That's a good question. I don't know. They give him a little platform to roll around on, and
Or maybe they just carried him from dick
We're
to
fucking
dick.
evil,
so.
man.
yeah, we are. We're bad.
we're evil people. Oh man! Did you guys see that story in New York? This famous synagogue, and they discovered underground tunnels.
Did you see?
I know Pantelis was making fun of this.
Yeah, Pantelis called them Teenage Mutant Ninja Jews, showing the Jewish guys come up out of the underground, out of the tunnel, out of the sewers.
And apparently, the underground Jewish tunnels found in New York are connected to the local Children's Museum.
Those tunnels, or no?
That tunnel, the tunnel that the guy came out of, is connected to the local Children's Museum, apparently.
That's weird. The story I read on, I think it was Associated Press. These are tunnels that have been created not long ago by some youngsters, and they're linked obviously underground to this synagogue. And there was an issue with the structure, the foundation. Obviously, I mean, when you're digging tunnels underground, first of all, they were done with no permit, and it was the actual worshippers in the synagogue that alerted the police. They're like, fuck, these youngsters, what the fuck are they doing? Get them out of here, and let's block these tunnels. And there was a revolt from these youngsters, and this fight broke out.
Younger members of that particular Jewish sect.
And the video, I'm sorry to say this, but it's so freaking hilarious, because you don't expect Jewish people to be in any sort of conflict. I mean, we've seen them here. I mean,
Yeah, and
Jewish community, they're very peaceful people.
They're Orthodox, and that's part of what makes it amusing to watch. They're all dressed the same, right? They've all got the beards and the ringlets and the hats.
And it's just rare to see them in any conflict situation. And the fact that you see them dressed like that, punching each other out and pushing themselves and confronting the police, you're like, what the hell is going on here? It was so funny to watch, and it's just a weird story. Why the hell would you create tunnels? And I don't think there's did you see, did Pantelis mention anything about an explanation behind these tunnels, or what was the reason for these tunnels?
I don't know.
Was
actually.
it because of COVID that they wanted to have access to the place of
I
worship?
think they're just fighting and shit, and there's some.
No. But there was a specific reason that they dug these tunnels under the synagogue. It obviously gives access to the synagogue. Initially, I thought it was probably a COVID thing where everyone was supposed to stay home, and they created these tunnels probably to get into the synagogue underground. I don't know.
I don't think so, because I think it was post-COVID.
It was?
I believe. I might be wrong, but that was my.
You've heard of Al Capone. Now here you get a load of Al Shalom.
but it's just so funny, that video of the Jewish guy coming out of the sewer.
So I have the answer, by the way.
It's cut perfectly to fit the hat. It's just perfectly measured. It's amazing. What's the
Al Shalom? I'm writing that down.
Yeah, you should.
The tunnels were the result of an ongoing dispute between the Shabbat and the Lubavitch. Bro, this sounds like video game World of Warcraft shit, bro.
Seriously, eh?
Community and a more
Or a wrestling. In this corner, the Shabbat, and in this corner, the Lubavitch.
Yeah. Community and a more extremist splinter sect, which has long been embroiled in turmoil over ownership of the building housing the headquarters. Oh, that's all it is.
Yeah, but why why dig tunnels? It doesn't explain anything. I don't get it.
Well, just to be like...
why would you, first of all, what's the purpose of a tunnel? It helps you get to a place, right? I mean, underground,
or
whether
to
it's
hide.
secret. To hide from what? I don't get it. You want to hide underground in the synagogue? I don't get it.
Me either.
I mean, they learned from their enemies, right?
Too soon? a little too soon there.
I'm going to stick to making Al Shalom jokes.
Joey Elias has a great line that he uses in stand-up. So Joey's Jewish, and he'll say, during the course of his set, he'll say, where are my fellow Jews? Where are you? And anyone who's Jewish in the crowd will clap, hey! And he'll go, no, pipe down. He said, how do you think they found us last time?
He's so funny.
Yeah, he's great.
I hadn't seen him, or I had heard of him on the radio, obviously. I didn't know how big he was. And I don't know, was it on your podcast that he said he lost weight, or on Pantelis?
Yeah, he's not as big. He's like Pantelis. He's not nearly as big as he used to be. He lost a lot of weight. I think Joey at one point was like pushing 500 pounds.
What?
Yeah, he was really morbidly obese.
Wow.
Yeah, but he took it off, and he's kept it off. And he's just the nicest guy you'd ever meet.
I saw him at the Bordel once. I went to shoot Pantelis, and he was there, and he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You guys are doing something with him. I saw something on your social media. You're doing
we're doing
special?
a show February 10th, I believe it is, a Saturday night at the Legion in Ganawage, because Joey has a long history of helping raise money for legions. He basically saved the Legion in LaSalle. They had a bunch of unpaid back taxes, and they were going to get shut down. And he organized a fundraising comedy show, and I emceed it, and it saved the Legion. And then since then, we've done legions all around the city. We've done Lachine, we've done LaSalle, we've done Hudson, we've done we've done 2 in Roxborough. Roxborough Legion had a fire a couple of years ago, so we've done a couple of fundraisers to help get them back on their feet. And we've done 1 or 2 other ones around town as well. So we're going to do Ganawage, Mohawk Legion, Branch 219 on February 10th. And that'll be a lot of fun. That's a different Legion than most of the other legions because it's a different community, right? It's in Ganawage. It's steeped in Mohawk culture. And what's interesting about the Legion in Ganawage and the veteran community in Ganawage is it's overwhelmingly American military veterans because they have a choice, right? They can serve, they have dual citizenship.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they can serve in either military, and most of them serve in the American military, and most of them serve in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Wow.
Because they like a fight. You know, I'm stereotyping, but the Mohawk culture is steeped in warrior tradition, and who's at the who's at the sharp end of the spear whenever the Americans go to war? The Marines.
Yeah.
So that's who the Mohawks. That's who they sign up with, and there's quite a number of women U.S. Marine Corps veterans in Ganawage as well, which is really cool because you've got a woman who can who could kill you with her bare hands and take you out with a single shot from 500 yards. That's fucking hot, man.
Forgive my ignorance, but these legions, they're there just to serve veterans. It's kind of like a little association for
veterans and their families, and they also have, I think they have programs as well that serve the broader community, but they were initially established to serve veterans and their families.
So there isn't anything like recruiting or anything like that happening over there?
No. No, that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Yeah, that's fun. I mean, they need that little space, right? I mean, to meet and to. I think it's important.
Yeah, probably not as much now as post World War II. Most of those, I think that's who the legions were initially set up for. Were World War II veterans, maybe World War I, but more World War II. I think that's when the Legion was really in its heyday, when those guys came home. But most of those guys are gone now. Like if this year is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. So if you landed on D-Day and you were 20 years old, you're turning 100 this year. So there aren't too many of them left.
Yeah. Do you know, I mean, can you just pick any legion to go to? Like, I'm very curious about this. Like, let's say you serve in the Air Force, for example. Is there a specific legion that you associate with? Or
I don't think so. I think you could.
I think whichever one is in your region.
I would assume that if you were if you were an actual veteran, if you have served in the military, then you could have your pick of what legion you wanted to join.
Yeah,
that seems fair to me. You did your service, you get your pick.
In other news, and I don't know if Nick is in the chat room. He just sent it to me. But I did see it this morning, Chris. Nick, if you're listening, but it's nice that he sent it to me. News this morning that breaks out. There is, I'm so upset, and I don't even want to say it. Everyone remembers Denis Coderre, and the former member of Parliament. He was a former Minister of Immigration, I believe, a long-time member of Parliament. He was out of Montreal, and then he resigned.
Whose cabinet was he in? Who was the Prime Minister?
Chrétien. And he resigned and became the mayor of Montreal for one mandate, and then lost once to the worst mayor in history, and then lost the second time again to the same worst mayor in our history. Had some health issues, and now there's news that came out this morning to the effect that he would be interested in running for the Quebec Liberal Party, because they have a leadership race that has that's open now. And I'm seeing this news and I'm thinking, fuck, man, it was the face palm of the morning. I was like, oh god damn, fuck. Don't you know when to quit? Do you
think he would have a shot though because he's got name recognition? No, eh?
No, I don't.
Do you think the party would know better than to elect him?
This is I'm putting myself in their shoes, and the dilemma they have is: do they just close the door because they're not interested, or to be fair, they say, look, it's a democratic process. Here's the criteria. Fulfill the criteria, get in the race, and we'll let the members decide.
Right.
I hope they don't do that, because for me, it's embarrassing already as a member of the party, obviously. It's embarrassing to even have him there, and I feel bad saying this because it is a democratic process, and everyone should have the right, if they so choose to run for leadership.
But you're looking at it from what's best for the party.
Yeah, like even strategically, it's like, dude.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Your political career is done. You need to accept it. And I'm just not so sure that the party needs that kind of profile now. I think the party should be focusing on someone maybe a bit younger, like in their 40s, late 40s, early 50s at most, that has still quite a few more years left in him. And again, I don't want to demean the guy. I mean, because we just spoke about Dick Irving, 91, and he's fucking top shape and sharp,
but Dick's not still trying to broadcast hockey games.
Exactly. So you got to know when to walk away
gracefully.
And Chrétien said it the best. I remember he said, in politics, you need to know when to get in and when to come out. The middle, nobody remembers. Yeah. As long as you come in on a high and you leave on a high, you're okay. You're going to be remembered, and you won't be stained by anything. Which is completely.
You can say the same thing about when you're having sex.
You gotta know when to come out. So yeah, all this to say that Coderre. I mean, I don't think it's a serious candidature, and a bunch of people actually messaged me this morning. They're like, "What the fuck is this shit? Are they serious? Are they trying purposely to get rid of the members?" So at the same time, he's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy, and it may very well be just a little test. Let's test the ground, see what happens. Let's see what kind of reaction we get, right? So somebody from his side kind of leaks to the media that maybe he's interested. He's having some conversations. It could be all fake. I mean, it's very easy.
It could be a trial balloon, like
exactly, like a trial balloon, to see exactly what kind of reaction it gets and to see if there's any interest. And who knows? I don't know. I just think it's a bad start to the leadership race. But hey, who am I to judge?
All right, we got to get out of here, boys. I got to go home and tape.
Oh, it's 11:30 already.
I got to go home and tape my nipples.
Thank you all for joining us this Wednesday morning. Be careful out there. It's fucking slippery. It's disgusting. It's Montreal. Hey, you got to be
Montreal in the wintertime.
There you have it. Head on over to patreon.com/Pantelis.
You know what's crazy? Sorry, I cut you off. Like, we can't escape white things in Montreal. In the winter, there's snow all over the place. In the summer, there's cum everywhere. Like, bro, enough is enough, man.
That guy, if you're into it, is Poseidon. Poseidon69. I'm Poseidon.com. Check him out on YouTube as well. He started posting stuff. You can check my stuff out at the Backstage Podcast or Politiquement Parlant. We've been having some very interesting guests lately. And of course, the one and only Ted Bird. You can listen to him every single morning on the radio, or you can listen to Standing By the Terry and Ted Podcast. Honestly, guys, an amazing episode. You should just go listen to Dick Irvin. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Ciao for now.
Patreon.com/Pantelis.